Hi, Colette.
Hi,
Could
hello.
you okay?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
So, could you tell me something about your background, how you got into art in the first place? You know, what inspired you, and then a little bit about what you do now.
I guess I've always felt artistic. I've always made things. Actually, I used to make things and adapt things and put sculptures together long before I was kind of making lots of drawings. And then I felt I had a talent for it in school and was encouraged to do it. And I didn't really think I'd do anything else. I kind of flirted with the idea that I might become an international human rights lawyer, but
Right.
I didn't really have the skills required for that. Politics and art have always been my main passions, really.
I can see that kind of interest in the art and the politics goes through a lot of what you do
Yeah, yeah,
in all of your work, your personal and the community work that you do.
yeah.
So, I know you work a bit at the Tate and the Manchester People's
Yeah,
Gallery.
the
Could you
the
say
Manchester,
say
the
a bit
Manchester
about that?
People's History Museum. It's the Museum of Democracy, and it's got the largest collection of trade union banners in Europe, actually. And it's just it sort of charts the the uh, the people's right to vote,
Yeah,
really, and it kind of goes through that the history of that. And I deliberately chose to work there. I was kind of earmarking them for ages because I wanted to get access to their collections. And the older I'm getting and the more disillusioned I'm getting with the world around
yeah,
us, I
sure.
realize now I want to, the social engagement projects I do, I want to be political in them. I
Mm.
want to be issue based. I want to say something. I don't always want to do that in my own personal work, but definitely with the social engagement projects that I do, I want them to be valid and to have purpose and to make.
I think that's really apt for now. I think when we've been talking to the museums, they've all been, you know, they're all going to re-look at their collections in the light of political things that are going on. So there was a project you talked about, which was Project Print. I wonder if you could tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, that came about because I've been teaching printmaking courses, 6-week courses at the Tate for about 7 or 8 years now,
Yeah,
linked to exhibitions, special exhibitions at the Tate. And so Tate London got sort of interested in me creating a printmaking book for beginners and intermediate skill levels,
yeah,
based around the idea of print. And it fitted with where I was at in my own practice at the time, because I use print a lot as a democratic medium for people who are not who don't feel that confident in their own creativity, because it kind of, it's a great leveler. It really draws people in if they think they can't draw very well,
yeah.
or they're unsure. And so it fitted where I was at in my own practice, with the ideas that they had for the book. And so we started, I spent most of last year actually writing the book, coming up with 30 projects that you could do at home at your kitchen
Yeah.
table. And the premise was it just had to be under £25 per project. And that was actually much more difficult
Yeah, I can imagine.
because I just had to make sure that everything that could be you would buy,
Yeah.
you had access to, and that everything was clear enough for anybody to be able to do it. Spent the last kind of year, 18 months writing them, and the first one, Project Print, came out in March. It was
Oh, right.
and it's out, you know, Tate, Waterstones, Amazon. It's out in all good book retailers.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now is those workshops I would have done in person, I'm filming online currently for the Tate, and they'll be on the
Right.
Tate's. They've got their own TV, YouTube
Yeah.
channel that I'll do them for.
And you've also done some work with hospitals. Was it in Manchester? You did a project there?
Yeah, with the Manchester Hospital Trust, the Royal
Yeah.
Infirmary there. Um, that was a great project. Well, I really enjoyed it. It was 6-month residency, so I was invited to become an artist in residence in
Mm.
the hospital. And the idea was that I worked across the whole hospital site, but I had a long period in Galaxy House, which is kind of a secure ward for patients recovering from eating disorders and other kinds of anxieties, for young patients or under 18-year-olds. And I did workshops all over the hospital, in on the wards, by bedsides, in waiting rooms. And it all kind of culminated in a series of costumed performances. We hung all of the work on the idea of fairy tales and deconstructing fairy tales, to pick out different kind of metaphors and icons that kind of reoccur commonly in European fairy tales, for sure. The workshops I did with the young people in Galaxy House, they because of the way the structure of their day, I sort of only had very, very short chunks of time with them. They had to be short, sharp, little kind of exercises that were fun, and quick, fun and quick, but and a bit abstract as well. So I ended up doing lots of things like exquisite corpse games, where you kind of just collage random things together and then they become something else. I developed them into something else.
Great. So it sounds like you've got quite used to doing quick, creative things. I like the idea where you talk about print being the leveler, and you've got very good at kind of coming up with quick things people can do to make themselves feel like they're being creative. They can see that. Because what I'm also hearing there is that you're really interested in story and magical stories, or myth, on that kind of thing. And does that spill over into your own work?
Yeah, definitely. All of my work's narrative driven. I sometimes fictional, sometimes partly fact, fiction, and then I always put in little bits of folklore as well. And because I love folk tales, all different folk tales from all variety of sources all around the world.
Because I'm thinking, did you do something with the Liverpool Biennial exhibition?
Yeah, I was part of an independent show, and I created some sculptures and installations made from ready-made objects that I'd found in flea markets. The exhibition was entitled Smoke and Fire, so I made the work especially for the exhibition. So that was kind of a little bit of a vague theme to get your head around, just as a starting point. But I wanted to make this kind of story about spontaneous combustion and the act of love and how that feels. The work I made was called Brief Encounters, and it shows two burnt out feet. It embrace, standing as though they've just been kissing on the platform.
Yeah. Oh, I see. From Brief Encounter.
And then they've spontaneously combust. It doesn't actually happen. They get together, and at that moment it happens. They combust. The act of being creative, it's a compulsion. So really, it's not something that is just in my work. As you know, John, when you're creative, it impacts all of your life. It's a way of seeing. It's a way of being, isn't it? And it's been it's been a good friend to me, and it's helped me through good times and bad times as well. It's what I have found is, when I've experienced grief in my life, as we all suffer loss at some point. I found it a real comfort to have this creative spark in me, because it's become a way of me being able to articulate and express myself when words won't do it. Words just won't cut it. At times when I see friends who maybe don't practice their creativity as much, and how much they suffer on, not suffer, that's the wrong word, but they don't have that good friend to help them through those times.
That's a nice way of putting it, your friend. And I'm just wondering if you knew that friend early on, when you were at school, was it always there?
Yeah, it was, but it maybe I maybe didn't recognize it. And it comes out in other ways. You know, I was the kid at school that that looked like Steve Strange, and everybody else didn't. And I did it on fashion and makeup, and
Steve Stage being the new romantic visage guy, right?
yeah. You know, so, and you know, I was always customizing clothes, and
Mm.
from a very early age, I never sort of went out in anything straight. It
Yeah.
always was
Yeah.
pinned and ripped and embellished, and you know, so it.
I can see you doing that. Yeah. Okay, so look, it's been great to find out a bit about how you do what you do, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next. And it's been great chatting to you. Thanks, Colette.
Thanks, John, and I'm looking forward to the collaborations that we're going to do with the project.
Okay, bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.